Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Hostinger Horizons online event. It's a pleasure to see you all here. I'm with my wonderful colleague, Dainius, on my right side right here. It's a pleasure to see you all. Thank you for jumping in today from any platform that you're watching, whether it be YouTube, X, or LinkedIn. We see you all, and we're really glad to have you here today. Now, as you saw, for today's topic that we have to cover, we are going beyond the basics. So beyond everything that you may have known about Hostinger Horizons and going to a little bit more detailed things and seeing how everything can really ramp up with Hostinger Horizons today. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in with a quick little presentation right here. So as I mentioned before, my name is Karolis. Here's my wonderful colleague, Dainius. And we'll start off with a quick little agenda of topics that we want to cover for you today. So first of all, for those of you that are entirely new with Hostinger Horizons, we're going to do a quick little introduction and tell you about what exactly it is, how do you use it, when do you use it. We'll also do a little bit of a showcase for some projects that are already created with Horizons from our wonderful users over the Discord channel that we have as well, and other various things here. I can see you're all very active in the chat. Hello, everyone. Very nice to see you all. Feel free to say and wave in the chat. We see you all, no matter what platform you're joining in from. Also, we will have a Q&A session near towards the end of today's stream, so you'll be able to ask your questions, and we'll be able to give you all the answers you're looking for. So without further ado, let's jump right in and take a look at what exactly is Hostinger Horizons. Now, how I like to think about Hostinger Horizons, it's a buddy of yours, a software engineer buddy that you can use to create pretty much anything you want, right? This comes from things like web apps to maybe even some kind of more dedicated solutions, maybe even some kind of small game as well. There's so many different capabilities here. We don't even know all of them. They're practically infinite. And what we want to kind of give you with Hostinger Horizons here, it's a place to publish everything in one go. Now, we understand that, if you're going to make something like a web app, you need a place where to publish it. You need something like hosting. You need an email account as well. All of these things we put together into one simple solution for you, and that's what Hostinger Horizons is. It's kind of like the everything in one package. Think of like a 3-in-1 coffee, except you're getting pretty much everything in one single go. Now, this specific AI-driven solution here that we have, this AI web app building platform, also does support a lot of languages. So you do have the ability to use your own local language. If you're not a native English speaker, you do have the opportunity to use it wherever you want. And of course, like I mentioned, everything all packed into one simple place, ready for you to just jump right in and start creating, start using it to make those projects that you've always dreamed about. Now, one thing that we want to cover as well is exactly when would you want to use Hostinger Horizons. It's such a seemingly complex thing to think about. It's like AI web app building. For those of you that are not very familiar with this niche or don't really know what exactly that means, this might seem a little bit, scary for you in this case. Well, we do have you covered. We do want to kind of accent the ways that you can use Hostinger Horizons. First of all, is to build something that you always dreamed about, that billion-dollar idea in your head that you've always been thinking about and you always wanted to do. You can actually make it a reality without any programming experience whatsoever. So for those of you who have no experience or very low amount of experience in terms of coding, and you don't want to go through the struggle of doing everything on your own, this AI web app building tool will help you do that in a matter of minutes, in a matter of prompts. We also have the ability to kind of realize multiple different projects in one, since with Hostinger Horizons, you can build many web applications at once. It's a simple and easy solution for you to do that and also host them all in one place. And of course, if let's say you are an agency or a web developer of some kind, and you need to get out a quick little project for one of your clients or a company that you're working for, you can easily do that with Hostinger Horizons. We've seen so many different applications being already created with it, from things like dietary planners to even news sites to even something like a 3D looking landscape in a game. So we'll be able to take a look at that and how it looks and how it feels like in our next topic, which is going to be the project showcase. So let's jump in with our first project that we have here today. It's called Glowy, and it's a beauty service web app where you can actually choose between different beauty services that you can order, or you can create an account as well, where you can just make appointments with different barbers or beauticians, or I don't know, it could be like a beauty consultant as well. Even take a look at the things like the prices of these services all in one simple place. And of course, you also do have the ability to register your own account here, with the ability to manage things like your appointments, see when they're going to be done, see upcoming appointments as well, and be able to schedule everything in a simple little calendar interface that they have there in the back end. All of that built with Hostinger Horizons. Next up, we even have a smart calculator. Now, this is a kind of one-fits-all solution. If you ever wanted to calculate something, whether it be from your taxes to your budget to even dietary things like calories, you can do all of that in one simple place with this little smart calculator. It also does give you the ability to save all of those calculations that you've made and review them if you register an account with that particular site, with this particular web app. And of course, you do have a lot of different tools to choose from. Now, in the screenshot that you see right here, there's not really that many, but trust me, the list goes on and on and on. I think there was even a pregnancy calculator to calculate when you're going to have your baby. So if you were ever wondering about that, that might also be something interesting to give a shot and try it out. And our last project that we have here today, it's actually a game. It's called Play the Penguin, and it's a cute little nod to Flappy Bird. I'm sure some of you may know about this little mobile game that was viral some years ago. And it actually, this particular web app that was created, it kind of mimics that same feel of, having a little bird that's flapping around, except it's a penguin in this case. And you can also customize things like the background, like the player model. All of these things are very simple, and you just have one small button press for increasing the altitude of that Flappy Bird and going through those obstacles that are in your way. Now, it's of course a very beta format, I would say, from this side, but it's still something that you can jump right in and give it a shot, see how it looks like. So there are some few projects that we wanted to showcase today. If you want to see your project showcased, we do have a Discord server. I'll give you guys a link near towards the end of this whole entire event that we have going on. One of my colleagues will probably do that in the chats or the comment section. But in any case, we can jump right into a little special gift that we have prepared for you as well. Now, this gift is a special discount that you can use up until April 1st, end of day, and it's called Horizons Beyond. So if you use this code before checkout, you'll be able to get an additional 10% discount for that Hostinger Horizons subscription. Now, some of you may already have a subscription already, so no worries. This is mainly for those that are just wanting to try out and give it a shot. And of course, we also do have a customer success team that is always there to help you out. If you were to run into any questions, maybe you need some additional help or guidance, they're available 24/7, always there for you to make sure that it's a simple journey of using Hostinger Horizons. And with that, we also have just launched our Explorer plan for Hostinger Horizons. Now, it's a $10, so $9.99 plan where you can get 50 messages per month, including all of the other benefits that you'll see from all of our other plans. So if you are interested in that, go take a look in our Hostinger Horizons page. There you'll also see that we have also included a free trial where you can actually just give it a shot for yourself, test it out, and you'll be able to just, also feel the magic of Hostinger Horizons with us, and then see which kind of plan suits you best. But yeah, that's pretty much it for a simple little introduction from our side in terms of Hostinger Horizons and what it is generally, as well as our little gift for you guys. I'll also mention the little coupon code a little bit later towards today's session. But speaking of our little event here today, let's jump into the real business that you guys came in here for, okay? Which is building a little bit more of an advanced app together with my colleague, Dainius. So just before we run into that, let me actually make sure that everything's all right here. I'll present my screen for you guys. Also, feel free to interact with the comments. I'm sure there are plenty of you that also have very different ideas, maybe your impressions about Hostinger Horizons. If you're hearing it about the first time, we really want to know what you guys think, what you guys feel. It's going to allow us to grow and make this platform even better for all of us. All right, I think this should be pretty good. Let's move into Hostinger Horizons. Now, I do have an idea of what I'm going to be creating today. I did a little bit of prep time in this case. And for what I'm going to be making, it's going to be an online shop for selling small miniature like model cars, right? So if you know those little cars that you used to play with, if you were a kid, maybe some people are collectors of these little, model cars. We're going to be making an online shop where I'll be able to sell these things, and I'll also be integrating a database as well as Stripe in order to capture those payments. So let's jump in with our first little prompt that we're going to be asking for it to do, just by explaining our base, what we want to do and how we want to do it. All right. So let's say I want to create an online shop where I will sell miniature model cars. This shop will be called Tiny Cars. And let's start off with a few little small pages, just making sure that it creates something, not just like a one size fits all kind of solution, but more of a few little pages that we can scroll through and take a look at different solutions, different kind of areas as well. So let's start with create a few pages for me. Make sure the design is sleek and simple. We want to keep simplicity here. Minimalism is a great trait that I really like in terms of especially web apps, to not overcomplicate things. And of course, just for the sake of making sure that everything runs okay, let's let it know that maybe if Hostinger Horizons runs into any errors, let's actually capture them beforehand and make sure that they're already fixed by the time the prompt is done. So I'm going to say, if you encounter any errors on the way, try to fix them before. Well, try to fix them. I think that'll be perfectly enough in this case. And let's run our first prompt and see how it goes, all right? So we already see that it's doing its work. Go ahead, Dainius.
Really exciting. Let's see what we'll see. Always very exciting and thrilling to see live demos.
Yeah. And as you can guys see, it's already doing its thing. It's making the code. I kind of feel like those movie hackers when they're just typing on the keyboard and code pops up. So you can kind of feel in a similar way here. You can see that it's already doing its job. It's creating the necessary files, and it's also letting us know exactly what is going to be happening. So it's outlining an entire plan for us to start with, and letting us know exactly what is going to be happening, what we're going to be adding, and how it's going to be working. Even it's going to tell us the time frame that it may take in order to create this entire thing. So it also said this may take a minute to complete. We can see that it's already updating and creating files pretty simply and pretty easily. So from here on out, it's going to be super simple. I see somebody also in the comments already had a question in terms of languages. Yes, you can use different languages for Hostinger Horizons, so feel free to give it a try, and then you'll be able to kind of get into it and use your own mother tongue for this kind of, for building your dream web app. All right, let's see what we got. I see that we do have a little bit of an oopsie. Let's wait. Let the web app build. And there we go. As you can see, it already made us something. Now I'm going to switch to full screen mode so that we could see full on exactly what it looks like. It used the name that I mentioned. I do see that the design is pretty simple and sleek. It doesn't have any kind of over-the-top things included. You can even click this button to browse the collection of the different cars. Now, of course, it's using placeholder images for now. We'll be able to add more in the future. But we can even see that it added things like a shopping cart already. So if I wanted to add one of these cars, these model cars, to my shop, and then to my cart, and then go through the checkout, we'll be going through the entire process from here. But it only took us a minute, but I think we have a very great place where we can go from. Now, I do want to add some additional things. So let's exit the full screen mode, and let's actually do something additional here. I see that it's only just home and shop for now. So why don't we add a few more pages to make sure that, we have more information provided inside of the web app itself. Let's start with an about page, for example. So let's give it a prompt to say, please add 2 more pages. The first page should be about. And in there, we want to see information about model cars and their impact in history. So it's going to give us a little bit of a backstory on exactly how these model cars have affected history, maybe things about collectors or even some fun facts included. So people, if they want to learn a little bit more about exactly what Tiny Cars is, they'll be able to do that in a separate page. The other page should be contact. There, I want to see some placeholder contact details and a Google Maps, right? And that seems pretty simple. It's something that I would probably message my own developer to add to my own, web app. But if we click enter right here and start going through it, we'll be able to see exactly how it works. Now, I do want to ask Dainius as well, what are your favorite, let's say, prompts that you use when using Hosting Horizons?
That's a great question. I guess I don't have my top 10 or top 3, but it always, I guess my mind gets blown away. Then I just see some design, and then I ask for make this design more elegant, and then Hosting Horizons just figures it out, and just surprises me that all that design uplift it offers and gives to me.
Nice. So I think it's always going to be surprising us all the time in terms of what we can see and what we can have here. And we can see that it's pretty much done. And we already have 2 additional pages that we can look through here as well. Let's take a look back into full screen mode and go to the About page. We see the history of model cars. It even gives us a little bit of information about the golden age, right? About the cultural impact as well. It's pretty simple, and it's already something that I think I could use on my own web app. As well as the contact page, where we can see it does include the address, phone, email, even business hours, and the Google Maps that I mentioned as well. It's already integrated. Now, if I wanted to, I could just add my own contact details in the prompt, and it will just replace all that information with what I want and make that a reality. So a fully fledged contact page already done. No real need for going in or dragging in any elements, making it super simple with just the power of AI. Now, the next step. Sorry, Dainius, you wanted to mention something?
Everything's happening so fast, and I just want to address the questions in the comments from time to time. I guess
for sure. Go ahead.
About hosting, right? So the question was, do we offer hosting only in Europe or all around the world? So yes, we have multiple locations around the world. So the web application or website, when it's published, it's gonna be fast and very close to to basically any location. And on top, we have some additional magic done, so it would be even more fast. So yeah, it's close, it's fast, and it's deployed all over the world.
Awesome. I'm sure you guys have a lot of different questions as well. You can ask them right now, or you can ask them during our QA session that we'll have near towards the end of today's entire event that we have planned for you today. So looking back into the web app that we have right here, the next thing that I want to do is actually have that shop be populated with those different model cars that I want to create. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to be using our new Supabase integration that is already available to all of our users. Now, if I click this button at the top right, you can see that we do have that integration already made. I have actually already connected my own database and my own account, so you can already do this as well. I'm not going to go through the process of creating an account and making that process. It's going to be very simple. You just follow the steps provided inside of the interface. But here I can already connect it to a project by clicking on one of my already created projects right here. I'll click connect, You can see it can even bring me directly to the dashboard or even view the tables that are already created there. But if I just click the connect button, it'll do its thing and start connecting the database directly with my web app. And it's going to do that magic right here behind the scenes, also providing more information about exactly how that integration is happening, right? So it's going to be creating a table for a client, for an order, right, for a product as well. So making sure that, all of those things are prepped and ready. Awesome. I can see that it's working and it's doing its thing. I'm sure you guys are very excited on our next steps. We can also take a look at another question I see we have from the chat right here in YouTube. It says, how if we need to load details from a database? So would we use a specific prompt for that? Or do you think the hosting horizons will be able to handle that itself?
Yeah, so generally, you don't need to think about technical stuff on databases. Once you integrate Supabase, it's gonna just tell you, it's gonna do all the magic behind the scenes. And if something needs some manual effort, it's just gonna prompt you in the chat window and tell what you need to do. But you don't need to explicitly say anything, say anything to database, tables, etc., etc. No, just use it as a friend and tell what you want your web app to do, and it will figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I said earlier, it's kind of like your buddy, right? Who kind of helps you out with everything. You just ask him a question and bam, he thinks of an answer. So if you do have just a general question about exactly, what is going on, maybe how this is built, you can also just directly go in and ask Horizons. Of course, remember that you are limited to a certain number of prompts, so don't go too crazy, right? But if you are curious, you are always able to ask these kinds of things. Now, we can see that it has been able to integrate Supabase directly. I can see that it's provided even additional information. We can take a look at the main shop that we have right here, and we'll probably be able to see some details. Might need to do a quick little refresh. There we go. Oh, well, of course, I don't have any products right now, so what's it going to be calling from the database? That's a very good point, me. So let's actually do that. Let's have it create some products for us. So let me say inside of the prompt window, create 5 products for me. They should be model cars with a cost of between, well, let's say 20 to 50 USD. And I should be able to see their information. For example, size, color, weight, price, right? All of these things and other details. Let's also add this information to our database, right? So to make sure that everything is also in there, it might be able to just go through everything in one single blow. So this is going to give us kind of like an example where to start from, and then we'll be able to go on further from there as well. I can see that some people have questions about the different kinds of databases that are available. Maybe Dainius, you could actually mention, is it only Supabase, or do we have other databases that are integratable with Hostinger Horizons?
So great question. So technically, you can integrate whatever you want, whatever technology you want. It's only a matter how easy it is. We decided to start with the Supabase because it's not only a database, it has more features, and this integration allows to do a lot of magic behind the scenes. So currently it's the most smooth option, and we're gonna make it even more smooth. And regarding other databases, possible, but you would need a bit more prompting skills and maybe a bit more specific prompts to make them working.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if you are curious about maybe how exactly should I prompt directly to Hostinger Horizons, maybe you want to some help with troubleshooting some prompts as well, we do have our entire Hostinger Academy YouTube channel, which you can access right now if you're on YouTube, and take a look exactly at the different kinds of videos that we have created for you guys. They're very short and simple and straight to the point, just to make sure that you have all of that info that you need, right? And some additional strategies and tips in order to make that web app building process as easy as possible. Right, let's jump back into Hosting Horizons here. Now, as you can see, it did add some additional details here, and it actually added an entire SQL query. Now, since we are using a database, I can actually take this SQL query, copy it from here, and jump into my own project that I have made, right? So if I go to my Supabase kind of dashboard that I have right here, I can access it directly, of course, from Hosting Horizons. I can even share this entire tab with you guys. If I go to the main left side menu and go to the SQL editor, I can just paste in that copy text. And there we go. As you can see, it has all those products that I have asked it to create already added here. If I click the Run button, it'll just do that directly. And we can already see some adjustments being made inside of the site. So by going back,
just add that currently you do need to do this step, like going there and copy paste the code, but we actively working that would be auto executed. So it should be live in a couple of weeks. So you stay on Horizons, you don't leave it, you just do your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys are excited about that, let us know in the comments. I'm sure that making that process as simpler and simpler as possible is going to be super great for everybody. Now, one more thing I do want to mention as well is that all of these things that we're doing right here, you can find guides. We do have also tutorials made specifically for how, let's see, to integrate, and we have a lot more to come in the future. So keep your eyes peeled on all of our pages, our YouTube channel as well. I'm sure you guys are going to be able to find a lot more information going on there as well. So let's go back to the web app that we have right here. I'll refresh the page just to make sure everything's all right. We can even switch on to full screen mode. And if I go into the shop, I can see here are those cars that I asked it to create. Now it does have, seems like the images aren't loading a little bit properly here, but we can take a closer look. We can also fix that a little bit later on down the line. But if I just check out any of the details of one of these little model cars, I'll be able to see the details, the scale, things like the material, right, manufacturer, and some features as well. Now, currently, if I click the Add to Cart button, it does add it to the cart at the top right, but we can't really access it right now because we don't have any kind of dedicated integration with the cart. We might need to work a little bit on towards that. So let's do this, shall we? So let's go through and add the ability to purchase these model cars. Let me exit the full screen mode.
While Carlos is typing, but add that this data, these models, that's already not like hard coded. It's already real data, and once you make this application live, you can at any point just edit the data model, like the models that what we sell in orders in the back end Supabase, and this information gonna appear in the web app in the front end. So it's already a fully functional, full stack web application. Very, very excited to get it working in less than, I guess, 10 minutes or so. Very cool. Very nice.
Yeah, I think we did take about like 10, maybe even less minutes to fully integrate that, right? With all of my explaining and answering questions on the side. So as you guys can see, I could run back directly to Supabase and the dashboard, and I could even alter the tables and make some adjustments right there. But of course, we want to focus on the main things, right? I'll let you guys dabble into that when you have, your own Supabase integrations done. Now, let's jump into actually adding those payments. So I'm going to make it super simple. I'm just going to ask it to add the ability to purchase these model cars, okay? I'll say, let's add the ability to purchase the products. And let's see what it's going to give me today, right? Because we want to make sure that the card is working. It's going to give us some more information. For example, to integrate Stripe, which is something that we're going to be doing from today for our entire session. So it's going to ask me to create a Stripe account. Now, I already do have one, and I actually do have it pretty much set up in order to go through everything already. And I can actually even add the products themselves. But what thing we are going to be needing to do is actually add our API keys from Stripe. So you can find those directly in your own Stripe dashboard. I'm going to be using some test API keys and a test card later so that we could go through the purchase in like a test manner. But here, since it's going to be asking me for those API keys, I'm going to be giving them right here.
I will just add that Stripe, maybe not everyone is aware, is a payment processor. So it handles all this payment collection, credit card processing, refunds if they happen, like all those parts. So once you integrate it into your web app, it all happens there securely. It's not AI generated with payment processing. No, it's like this integration, which is also secure. So all that your money is processed securely online through Stripe, which is top leader in payments.
Yeah, and it supports so many different payment methods. It has Google Pay, Apple Pay, card payments, even local payment providers can be included as well. Now, and in terms of which ones you want to use, it's completely up to you, but you do have the freedom to do that. So let's actually add our API keys right here.
Okay, please do. And also just to add, it's not mandatory to implement Stripe. If you want to collect payments, there are other payment providers and processors like PayPal, or maybe in India Razorpay. I believe that's the main option there. So you can all integrate those. Maybe they have not yet tested too much some niche providers, but all the main ones should be integrated in more or less similar fashion as Kavoliūnas is doing now with Stripe.
Exactly. Now, what I'm going to be doing in this case is actually creating a product inside of Stripe so that I could link it directly to one of my products that are already in the database, right? So let's take a look at this first one that I have right here. It's the Audi Sport Quattro S1, right? I'm going to copy the name for it, and we can jump directly into Stripe. I'm going to show you exactly what it's going to be looking like, right, when I want to create a payment link for one of those products. So let me share the tab for you right here. You'll be able to see that I can add different kinds of products or subscriptions. So of course, it's going to be just the regular product. And I'm going to add a new product right here. And let's start with the name. So we can see right here. We can also grab the description directly from the product details that were generated inside of Hostinger Horizons in the web app. So I'll paste that in right here as well. We can even add our own image if we want to, even things like regular Stripe-related payment things from kind of all the different places and all the different integrations you can also make in here as well. Let's start off with the amount, right? So what is going to be the price? I can take a look back into my page, right, into the web app. I can see that this one was priced at $34.99. So I can just copy that price over, jump directly back into Stripe, and set that as my main price. We can even set it to US dollars in this case as well. And when I add that product, it's going to be added directly to my Stripe account right here. And we can generate the link by clicking this button at the top right where it says Create Link. And there we go. We have the link created. So I'm going to copy that over. And we'll come back and add the link for it right here. So let me just give it a quick little explanation as well, just to make sure that it understands what's happening here. Here's the product link for Audi Sport Quattro S1. And it should be able to link that up together. If I do add that product directly into my cart, it should take me directly into the cart and then directly into Stripe to make the purchase. So let's try to give it a shot, shall we? I'll go to the shop. I'll view the details of this Audi. I'll add it to my cart. At the top right, we can see that the cart is here, but it doesn't seem that it's actually opening anything up at the moment. So let's do a little bit of troubleshooting. Let's ask it to make sure that the cart is visible and I'm able to complete the purchase. And let's give it some time to think. In the meantime, let's take a look at what you guys are saying in the comments section. I can see there is an interesting comment from Pramod. So I'll hand this one over to you, Dainius. He says, once we create the web app using Horizons and publish, do I still need the license of Horizon if I don't plan to change the site in the near future?
License meaning subscription, I assume. So so once you create your application, you can have it, it's yours basically. And once you publish, and if you're still paying for hosting plan, you're gonna have it forever. You don't need to have Horizon, like until you pay for your hosting plan. You don't need to have Horizon subscription to have your web app working. So it's perfectly normal use case that you get Horizon subscription, you create your web application, you publish it, and once you are happy, you just cancel maybe your subscription if you don't want to make any changes, and then you just continue paying for the hosting part, and that's about it. And then you have your application working.
Yeah, simple as that. And with our new Explorer plan that we have available right now, it's even cheaper to do so, right? So you're already getting hosting, email, and everything all in one place with the Explorer pack that we have available right now from our main page. Okay, let's give it another shot right here. I'll open back up full screen mode. Let's go back to the shop right here. You can see here's that Audi that I mentioned before. Let's add it to the cart, and let's open it up. Still doesn't seem to be doing exactly what I wanted to.
Some nice troubleshooting here. So I believe, Carol, is that we used price ID and publishing key, which we didn't need to necessarily add to the horizons. In this case, we used like simpler integration flow. We created a payment link. So I believe if we could revert to a version without adding Stripe information, and then just ask to add that payment link, it I believe should work. We might try that approach.
Let's give it a shot, shall we? So let me revert back here. Of course, this is also an option that all of you have as well, so keep that in mind. Let's make sure that it's done. Okay, and now let's, I guess, ask it to create, add the payment link that I created before. Isn't that right, Dainius?
Well, technically yes, but I see that we just launched a new upgrade to the flow, and now we actually promote this flow with the API key and the price ID. But I saw them from the comment in the Horizons that the price ID that you uploaded did not match the payment link. So, but we can do that. We can try to do this on the flow. So I mean, like, all good. Let's copy the same publish key, but for the price ID, we can open that product in Stripe interface and copy paste the price ID, and it should work.
Okay, let's give it a shot, shall we? Then let me start off with the price ID. Let me go grab the product real quick. So this will take just a second. The product ID, there we go. Got it from Stripe. And here's the product ID. Okay. Let's see what it says.
Okay, so also to clarify, there's a product ID and there's price ID. So in this specific case, we actually need the price ID, and I believe
the price ID.
That's what you're gonna see in the chat. So very important, guys. Follow the instructions in the chat. So if Carlos would scroll a little bit up in the chat interface, like on the message a bit above, even like the previous message, right? So yeah, so it says that first you need to go to Stripe checkout settings and enable one certain functionality. If it's not enabled already, and then you need to create a product that Carlos already did, so that's good. And then we need to go to a products page and click next to the price and select copy the price ID, right? So we need the price ID, not the product one.
Got it. I was able to grab it while you were speaking, so let me add that right here.
So fast.
Yeah, quick and simple, right? Quick and simple. We're not going to be going on too long here as well, by the way, guys. Just a few last steps, and then we'll jump into our QA session because I know you have a lot of questions right here. We'll be able to answer some of those, and we'll won't be taking too much of your time going on forward. Here's the price ID. Just want to make sure that it actually ends up working for us.
Nice, and I believe also we'll need to get the publishable key, and that's about it.
All right, let's do that. So let me add the test ones. Should be pretty easy. We can copy them directly from the Stripe interface. course, just for security reasons, some of these steps you might not be seeing, guys, but in any case, you can always follow the steps. It's very intuitive in how it presents you all the things you need to do. I might not have that big of an attention span, so no worries. All of you I'm thinking are going to be able to do everything pretty easily from your side. All right, awesome. I can see that it's doing its thing, and it's implementing that Stripe integration. In the meantime, let's take a quick look at some other questions you guys may have had. So let's pick this one from John, who says, can the site be moved to another host? I think this is also something that is pretty interesting to ask.
Host, I mean, I assume it's a hosting provider. So we have very nice integration with Hostinger. So once you publish it, live, you can connect custom domain and all that. But at any point, if you want, you can always export your project, the code base, by clicking Hostinger Horizons on top left, and there is an export button. Well, if Carlos can show it, maybe.
Of course.
So export project, and it's just gonna export all the project base, and then you can take it and host it in any place you want. It requires technical skills because that's source code. You need to use some development tools, build the code base to deploy somewhere. It's doable. Gonna achieve the same result, and it's also gonna be quite painful if you want to make any edits. Because then you will need to, do actual coding instead of using horizons and prompts. But it's all doable. So, the code is yours, the project is yours. If you're done and don't want to use horizons anymore, you can, just take it some other place.
Yeah, exactly. So you do have the opportunity to do that. This was a pretty recent feature that we added. So hope you guys are, making use of that if you want to, I don't know, use some kind of different implementation, or if you are of one of those, very techie people that really wants to jump into the source code and do it themselves. All right, now we do have everything almost done here. Let's take a look at what Horizons did for us. Let's go back to the shop. Let's take a look at one of our products that we have right here, right? And we can see that even a buy now button has appeared. Now, if I click that, it doesn't seem to jump me into anything, but we can try to cart one more time and see if that works. Doesn't seem so. Well, it seems like a little bit of a bust, might need additional troubleshooting. But from my own testing, that I have done myself, I can assure you that I was able to get it run and done, and it was able to jump me directly into Stripe, into the additional window where I could complete the payment using my own card or even a testing card as well. I might have to follow some additional instructions from Hostinger Horizons right here. So things like maybe additional features to be added or anything like that. But I think you guys generally get the point of what we want to come across right here. It's that implementation can be simple. Of course, troubleshooting is a little bit of another thing, but something to keep in mind. We've already done quite a lot just by using only 10 prompts. I think I started in with about 60 or so. So you guys can also do something similar with just a few little prompts. And, what was it, like about 20 minutes or so of your time. So just the speed at which we are moving here, it's, super fast. Right. One last thing that we do still want to do is actually publish the site itself. Now, even though we do still have some adjustments to make, we can click the publish button at the top right and actually make it public for everybody to see. And you guys can also jump in. I even do have a domain prepared for this little shop right here. So let's give it a shot and see how it's working. There we go. You can see it generated a link for us. Now, this is temporary, of course. We can just use this to view the site by ourselves. We don't really want to share this on our social media pages or to our friends. We do actually want to add our own domain. So let's do that. If I click the button right here that says Get Domain, it'll allow me to connect my own. And I do have one ready called tinycars.shop. I was pretty lucky that I got this one right here. After I click Next, it's going to add that domain directly to the site, jumping back in. And now if I go to publish the site one more time, just in case if any changes were made in the meantime, and go to tinycars.shop, I'll be able to see the site. Here you go. This is with the URL. You guys can try it yourselves, tinycars.shop, and you'll be able to see my little site, like little web app that was created with the Hostinger Horizons AI. Now, of course, I do have a lot of things to work on right here, but I think it's a great start for anybody and everybody, right, who just wants to jump right in and make some adjustments. And even so, I can still keep making adjustments and publishing them as I go along. And it's a pretty simple and easy process. Now, since we don't have that much time left, I'm going to stop sharing the screen right here, and we'll jump back into our Q&A segment, right? So your questions, whether you're on YouTube, X, or LinkedIn, feel free to add your questions in the comments or the chat, and we'll answer them right now. I see there are a lot of questions right here as well, but let's start off with something a little bit simple. I see somebody asks, can we run the app in a staging environment?
Okay, it's a quite technical question. So for people not in development, in general, there is production version, that means, or live version, it's what users see, and there is this invisible environment that's called staging, where you deploy your application to test if it works, and like everything is all right, and then you basically just switch it to a live version, so it's kind of live but not live, and that's how general development works. So with Horizons, we have this preview functionality, so everything what you do, what you chat, it's not deployed, like it's not published, like it's not live, it's only what you get here in this preview environment. So it's technically staging, like it does the same purpose, and once you click publish, only at that point it goes live. It's people who go to your web app, like the domain, see the changes. But if you just chat, do some additional prompting in Horizons, you're not gonna appear in this live version of your web app.
Right, that's right. Okay, I see we have another question by Minos, who asks, can we modify the pictures and content by manually through our own hands? I think I know the answer to this question, but go ahead, Dainius.
Yeah, so all the modifications currently happens to prompt. So if you don't like something, you can type it, you can take a screenshot and say update this place, you can add images and ask to add those. But they also have, in the very near future, add options to do some changes without prompting. So, text, images, some things like that. So you should expect them live in April, which sounds, maybe very far, but we had in spring, it's already March. So it's, a couple of weeks and you will be able to try it out.
Yeah, we're moving at a lightning fast speed, and we have so many different things planned. So keep your eyes peeled. We're going to make sure that you guys know about the latest updates. You can also track our social media channels, our Discord channel as well, which I'll be sharing near towards the end of our session today. I really do hope that you guys join in there, because we're going to be making more announcements and even challenges for you to test out Horizons and maybe even get some special prizes along the way. Now, I see another question right here who asks something similar that we already talked about, right? But Yukesh asks, can we create a complete dashboard for the web app so that if I cancel the subscription, I can still add and manage these pages or products? Now, from my side, I can say that, well, it surely is possible, because you can just use the hosting plan that is included with your Hosting Horizons subscription. But maybe, Dainius, if you have anything to add, I think you're free to do so.
Yeah. So Horizon subscription is basically for messaging, for once you use the interface and prompt and do changes. But you've already created a web application that has inventory management functionality. For example, for a tool Carlos did, right? If you would have asked for some kind of admin dashboard functionality, and then be able to add new products through that admin functionality, or edit images, etc., or prices, all that is doable. And you create this web application, and then you are done. You don't need to prompt do any changes. Then you just log into your web application, let's say for you just store, and you do the inventory management through it. You don't need Horizon subscription in that case. You just need hosting subscription somewhere to be able to run your web application for other people to be able to use it and see it, and maybe make purchases.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. I see that we do have more questions piling in. I see there's one by Yeshwant who says, what is the advantage of buying a paid plan? For example, the Explorer plan gives 50 messages, but with free, I get 150 messages with 5 per day limit. Now, of course, you can't just use up 5 messages per day. But from my own experience, you always do want a little bit more. You want to go a little bit deeper. You still want to play around with it a little bit more. Maybe, Dainius, you can tell from your own experience why we have, set different kind of, limitations and things like that for these messages.
Yeah. So regarding the three option, free trial, right? So it's not set in stone. Like we launch with it, but it's always up to change. With 5 messages a day, we already see that's quite limiting, right? You can just do so much with 5 messages, and then you need to wait for the next day. So it's already quite limiting. But we might do some additional changes there. But I guess the main pain point is that this tool, it really hooks you up. So if you okay to just do 5 changes, wait for the next day, do 5 changes, all good. But at least my experience, people around is you just get hooked in the tool, and you just prompt and do changes, and it seems magical. So I guess that's an answer in this regard.
Yeah. So kind of almost like a drug, you would say. You can just get hooked on it.
Legal drug.
Yeah. All right. I see we have another question from Boyoka, who says, can we deploy on iOS and Android? Now, I think this is a very interesting topic for discussion. We have actually talked about this before, but what do you think, Dainius?
So in general, I guess maybe not a lot of people are familiar what does it mean deploying to iOS and Android. I guess when people say it means App Store, for iOS and Google Play for Android. And it's not just that anyone can deploy there. No, you need to have account. You need to pay as a person, subscription to Apple or Google to be able to deploy things there. So it's not that straightforward. And so our focus for now is on the web applications and web development. But for sure, in the near future, we see also moving on into iOS and Android stores to be able to deploy the web applications, mobile applications there.
Nice. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Like I mentioned before, we do have a lot of different things planned, so keep your eyes peeled. There's so much more to come in the future. I can see there is another question from Corporate Army who says, how many apps can there be in one domain? Now, of course, well, as for like sites, websites, you have a website per domain. So I'm guessing the same kind of logic applies to the web apps. Is that correct, Dainius?
Yes, same. So, if you have one domain, it means one web application, a website, but of course you can have basically as many as you want subdomains, like adding something dot before your domain, and you can have as many as you want, right? So that's how it works in general. But if you have a question how many Horizons web apps you can create, so it depends with your hosting plan. We bundle with one plan that provides you 50 web applications, but so once you reach the limit, you either need to upgrade to some different hosting plan, or just delete some web apps you don't need anymore. We believe like 50 web apps for a person should be quite a solid number.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you're using something like the new Explorer plan, if you have a web app per message, I think that's super efficient.
Yeah.
All right. I see another question by Yukesh. Right here. He says, what if I want to convert and export the entire web app into a WordPress template so that I can use a WordPress theme? Is that possible? Now, from my experience, unfortunately, it's not possible at this particular moment because it is using a different framework than WordPress. What you can do is you can create an identical WordPress site and just try to put everything into similar places, use some kind of plugins for any functionality that you're looking for. But for a particular web app, it's going to be very separate and it's going to be very different from WordPress in general. So it's going to be a no on this one quite yet, but you never know what the future may hold.
And also, just very interested, and maybe drop in the comments, what do you want to achieve, right? I don't see reasons, why you should migrate from Horizons to WordPress. And if you want to do some changes or anything, then doing it through Horizons, it's much easier, in my opinion. So if you don't mind, drop the comment in comment section. I'm gonna check it out and maybe then get back to you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. I can see we do have a lot of questions pouring in as well. Now, since we don't have that much time left, we're going to have to close out our entire event for today. We want to say a big heartfelt thank you for everyone that was participating with us. Please go and join our Discord channel. We have a very active community in there. We also have a lot of people from our Hosting Your Horizons team that are constantly working there to answer your questions. So if you are looking for some answers to those questions right there, and you want some like-minded individuals, please go ahead and we'll continue our discussion in there. We have a bunch of different channels, and we do have challenges kind of planned for the future as well. If you are very keen on using Hosting Your Horizons, this is your time to jump in, get some rewards for what you're dating, and kind of experiment and share your experience with the entire community inside of that Discord channel. And yeah, on the side, I also do want to thank Dainius for your contribution today. You were amazing to work with, as always. Thank you very much for dealing with my short attention span.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. Great experience. Love, participating, joining, answering some questions. So guys, feel free to also, find me on LinkedIn, drop some messages if you have some questions, or just Discord. I also go there, and yeah, let's keep connected.
Awesome. Okay, I'll see you guys on the flip side. In the meantime, I'll give you a quick little video to close this little event of ours out. We'll be seeing you in a few weeks on our next event, so keep your eyes peeled on our pages and social media. We'll be coming back with more and better information for you and better tips. All of that stuff is coming very, very soon. Thanks one more time, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
$1 billion web app idea? Now you can turn it into reality with Hosting Your Horizons. To start, just tell Horizons what you want to create and instantly receive the first version. Preview your project and make edits as you go by chatting with the AI. With one click, publish your creation and share it with the world. Connect your own domain straight from within the interface. No coding, no extra setup. With Hosting Your Horizons, you get effortless web app creation, hosting, email, and more. Go to hostingyour.com and turn your ideas into reality.